everyone. Welcome back to Cascadia Inswinger. I'm Eddie Smith with my co-host John Floresca. And boy, do we have a big show for you on this one. We're going to be talking the MLS schedule for the rest of the season, for what's out there right now. We are also going to talk trade news, and CONCACAF Football Federation is getting a women's team. So let's get right into this. We're going to start off with the schedule, and let's start with Seattle.
I'm really excited for this regular season schedule because we get Seattle versus Portland twice, and we kick off the season again with Seattle versus Portland. So I'll backtrack just a little bit. The schedule is just the first part of 3 parts. It's a 6-game schedule currently announced. The teams will play 18 games before MLS playoffs start in late November, early December. So let's preface it there. So the Sounders got their 6-game schedule. The Timbers are right out the gate, and we can't be more excited for this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a 7 o'clock game in Portland on the 23rd of this month. It's going to be a great way to start this, with Portland coming off of a championship victory in the MIB tournament. Seattle's definitely going to want to get their licks in on them to start this season off again.
I expect Seattle to make this a chippy game. They're not going to let Portland celebrate. This isn't a celebration game for them. This isn't, their curtain call, hoorah, we lifted the trophy down in Orlando. This is going to be Seattle saying, hey, we still have a season to play, and we're not going to let you take this one. So I expect it to be chippy. We'll give you a preview for that later. The rest of the schedule for Portland and Seattle, their other 4 games, are the exact same teams, just in a different order. So Portland and Seattle will end up facing San Jose, LA Galaxy, LAFC, and Real Salt Lake. The reason it's all West Coast for now is because the current league rules is they don't want teams staying in hotels. That changes for Canada. We'll talk about them. They have a totally different situation going on. But they are keeping all the games as local as possible so the teams can fly out in the morning, play their soccer, and fly home. So those are the 6 teams. It's like I want to almost call it a mini bubble, because those 6 teams are staying just amongst themselves. But that's what we've got so far.
Yeah, I mentioned starting off with Seattle and their schedule, but really it's the same schedule as Portland, so not really. I don't even know why I said that.
Nothing insightful when you're trying to contrast the two. I'm just excited that we get to see them face off twice here within the next few weeks.
Yeah, so going on with the schedules, let's move on to Vancouver, since we just talked about both Portland and Seattle with their schedule. Vancouver is going to just be staying in Canada. They're going to head over to Toronto for 2 matches, starting on the 18th and then the 21st against Toronto. And then they move on to Montreal to face the Impact at the end of the month, before they come home in September and face Toronto once and Montreal twice at home.
Yeah, so Canada's got a really interesting situation going on because the border for the U.S. and Canada is blocked off until the end of the month. They only want necessary travel. Having them schedule games with MLS teams would just be too hard for them right now, going back and forth. So they're keeping it just in Canada, and they're even limiting travel between those 3 teams. Vancouver plays back-to-back games in Toronto, so they won't leave Toronto. Then they will hit Montreal before coming home. So they do all their stuff east, come home, and then they get to stay home. And then Montreal, when they come for their 2 games, they play back-to-back games in a 3-day span in September. So it's kind of bizarre. You get these back-to-back games in short times, but it's what we got to do to get soccer, and it's totally going to work for these teams.
Another thing about Vancouver schedule is it works into the Canadian Championship. You were going to talk about that.
Absolutely. So MLS released a statement saying that this is going to count as qualifying for the Canadian Championship. What they're going to do is the team that gets the most points from these 6 games that they're going to play of the MLS side will be declared the MLS Canadian representative. And then Canada's Premier League is currently doing their own bubble tournament on Prince Edward Island called the Island Games. I actually might try to catch some of those games. That I've just been reading about that, and it's kind of intriguing to me. But the winner of that bubble and the winner of the MLS 6 games, or they're 9 games, but the 6 that each team plays, will face off in a 1-game Canadian Championship. So they're still going to find a way to make that work out, which is great news because we just found out that the US Open Cup is canceled.
Yeah, for sure. It's very upsetting about the US Open Cup getting canceled. Understandably so, though. They announced that the MIB spot for CONCACAF Champions League is not taking over the US Open Cup spot, so that US Open Cup spot is still up for grabs somewhere. We don't know if that's going to be only for US teams or if it's going to be open to all teams. We'll have to see as time goes on.
Yep, we'll definitely have to wait and see about that. But it is good that we get a Canadian champion this year, so we'll have a Canadian team represented in CONCACAF.
So sticking with Vancouver, we have transaction news to talk about in Mbom Hwang. At 6 o'clock this morning, Vancouver announced that he has been shipped off to the Russian Premier League.
Absolutely massive news because he was their DP. He was a big money signing. They actually are selling him for a large sum, like 2.5 million euros. So anytime you can sell a player for big money and get money in return, your club's going to start going places. And I know that they just sold Alphonso Davies last year for a ton of money to Bayern Munich. So Vancouver is finding themselves with the ability to spend here. And I know that their front office was asked about that, and they said that players are kind of at a premium right now, that prices are good. The problem with trying to sign a player right now is because all the borders are closed. They actually said that if they were to try to sign a player off of this sell, because they have a DP spot open and a ton of money now, but with the current rules and visas and COVID, that it would take at least 9 to 10 weeks before that player could even get into the country and start practicing with the team. So they're saying that's going to be on the back burner. They're looking forward to going forward with the team that they have. We wish Wang the best in Russia. And it's unfortunate that he couldn't really pan out here in Vancouver. They just didn't quite have the team that matched his play.
So Hwang will be playing for FC Rubin Kazans in Russia. One note that he will be playing with former Russian national team coach I'm going to botch this. Leonid Solsky.
Okay. So he's got a coach that's got a good reputation. I know that he's looking for that international experience because he plays for his national team. And I wish him the best. I enjoyed watching him. It's not often you see Asian players here in the US and Canada. So I enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, he was a fun guy to watch. He was very vocal his entire time in Vancouver that he did want to eventually play in Europe. He is only 23 years old, and he's going to get that chance. So he said he's going to bring honor to the Vancouver Whitecaps name as he goes over to Europe. So good luck to Mbom Hwang.
Good luck to him.
So
The Cascadia women's team, though, we are both super excited about this. This is
yeah,
fun stuff.
yeah, I'm very excited to talk about this. Let's see if I can bring up the article right here. Yep. Uh, yeah, it's going to be a lot. Cascadia, both in men and women's. This women's team will be the first women's team in CONIFA, which is the Confederation of Independent Football Association. It's nations that are not affiliated with FIFA that are in this. They will be the first women's team in North America and the Caribbean region, and they are set to play their first game in early 2021. Currently, they are still looking for a head coach, and they're looking to sign players for their club. Anyone that is interested in playing for this club needs to go to their website and submit a resume, because we need to get some good players out here for this club.
It's awesome news that the sport of soccer is continuing to grow in Cascadia. I know you and I have covered the men's team a little bit in the past. Now we're going to have a women's team to cover. Before we know it, Eddie, we might just need to start covering the NWSL women's teams in the region too. We're just going to give all the soccer to all the people of Cascadia.
Exactly. We're gonna find ourselves as a very busy show here soon.
Yes, but I can never get too much soccer. You can never get too much soccer. So the more we can add to our plate, the better.
For sure. So that's gonna be our show today. We look forward to hearing what you have to say about all of this. Are you excited about the schedule? Are you upset about Wang leaving? What do you think about CONCACAF women's team coming to CONCACAF? Give us your thoughts. Like, subscribe, comment. We look forward to hearing from you. And always, go Cascadia.
Go Cascadia.